In this episode, all my experience of keeping torch corals in a nano reef tank. Oh, so excited for this one. You've guessed it. Let's roll those titles. Thank you for joining us back at Jay's Real Reef for this coral special. Yeah, the previous coral video, which we put out about a month and a half ago, really did go down well with our audience. We love you guys. Thanks for subscribing and liking and following the channel. And our numbers are growing. Thanks to our US audience. We really do appreciate you guys and our European audience as well. In this video, it is a torch coral special. I'm going to tell you about how to keep torch corals, what to look for when you're buying a torch coral, flow, lighting, disease, and some of the experiences that I've had with torch corals in this little nano reef tank. We've also got that added Halloween autumnal feel here on the channel as well. The cup of tea, the biscuits ready. So I think it's time to say, let's go down on the reef. So I thought I'd just give you a little show around the front. I am filming in the middle of the day at the moment, so there is quite a bad reflection from the front of the glass. But that's the front of the Nano Reef. Just to remind you, if you're new to the channel, this is a Red Sea Max Nano. It's the original cube-shaped one, which is a 75 litre or 20 gallon. And mine is now at 3 years old. I set it up in October 2020. And yeah, it was kind of a lockdown project. But this is how it looks today at the 3-year mark. A big feature from day one in this nano reef tank has been the torch corals. These are one of the most loved and probably loathed corals in the whole of this reef aquarium hobby. And you can see why. When you start to put the different species of torches together and form what we call a garden, they do look absolutely stunning. The movement, the flow, the rhythm, and those vibrant colours. They can really set off any reef tank. And me personally, I would not be without a torch in a reef tank. They do look absolutely incredible. However, they can be very finicky. They can get upset for no reason. And if they start to bail out and strip, it can be a very expensive time in the hobby to replace these guys, because even the cheaper ones are kind of £50–60 here in the UK. I'm not sure about your place. How much are torch corals where you are? Hit us up in the comments and let's see the difference. But some of them here in the UK can bring easily in excess of £500 to £1,000. So not cheap, and you certainly don't want to be putting one in straight away into a brand new reef tank, because if it died, you'd be absolutely furious. So when I'm buying torch corals, I do like to inspect to make sure that they are gonna be nice and healthy. Now, I didn't say this actually. In fact, all of my torches are Indonesian torches, which do tend to be a little bit hardier as well in the reef tank. This is my Dragon Soul torch coral, and you can see there things just to look for. Look around the edge of this flesh here, making sure that there's no kind of ruptures there, or it seems to be breaking away. That's really important. And this here, guys, is so important, this skeleton, making sure you got plenty of white healthy skeleton around the edge of each of the heads. And that is a really great example of a healthy torch coral. Yeah, so if you're buying them, do really inspect them. They can come with some pests on them as well. So have a good look round your torch coral. Things like flatworm. I'll put a little picture on the screen now so you can see. Yeah, they will come around the edge of the skeleton, so just have a good look for them. Make sure you've got plenty of brown and white skeleton there as well. And obviously the polyps are nicely coloured up with all the zooxanthellae. Yeah, it looks really colourful and bright. The brighter it is, the healthier it is. And also you've got that nice polyp extension, so it doesn't look like it's sulking. So this one, if I was out shopping, that would be a good example of a torch coral that you could take, and you should have some good success with that one there. The first one is turbulent flow, certainly not direct, so don't hit the corals directly with the flow, but make sure it's turbulent. Make sure that water can bring the food sources to the torch corals, and make sure that the flow can then take away any buildup of bacteria that might be on those torch corals. The next one is lighting. Make sure that you've got sufficient lighting to give it its colour. You'll know when you've got your torches in the right position because they'll be nice and colourful and bright, and if they start to bleach out and lose a little bit of colour, then perhaps you've got them a little bit sat too high in the tank. So either relocate them on your scape or drop your frag rack if you've got some on the frag rack and just adjust them to the lighting. And that's what I would say when you first buy your torch coral. Yeah, kind of put it much lower down on a frag rack, and then over the weeks just slowly raise it up until it gets that maximum peak height of I say it's around 100 to 200 par roughly, where your torch corals will really thrive. I've always enjoyed having mine on the edges of the scape. As you can see around the edge there, they seem to get a much more flow around the heads of them, which does keep them a bit healthier, I feel, as well, which is part of looking after them. Yeah, I would say you've got that kind of golden period of about 3 months. So as soon as you put your torch coral on, it might look superb, it might be really colourful and really happy, but it might not stay that way. So you've got a kind of 3-month window, I would say, with these corals. Once you get past the 3 months and they're still alive and happy and nice polyp extension, then it's probably going to go on and survive in your aquarium. But that golden 3 months is pretty critical. Yeah, make sure they're kind of away from your other corals. I'm not an expert on this, as you can see. That banana pora there, or no, goniopora in the middle there, has been heavily stung by the dragon soul. Yeah, just be aware that they will kill any coral that's close to them. So you do have to keep a little bit of distance around your torches. So in terms of parameters, the key parameter for your torches is stable alkalinity. So don't really have a particular number. Mine runs at 8.4, but if you can keep it around 8.4, well, for me, 8.4, keep it stable, then your torches are going to be really happy and healthy. It doesn't matter what your alk is, just go with your salt mix, but just keep it rock stable. I know that's hard, but this is one of the reasons why torches bail. That stable alkalinity is absolutely critical. One of the major benefits of keeping torch corals is the ability, if you can get them to grow, you can then start to frag the different heads carefully off the mother colonies that you have. And if you want to see how I frag my corals, my torches, check out the other videos on this channel. You can see the fragging of the torch corals right there. But it could be an investment coral, so where they are quite expensive to buy, but again, if you look after them, you get the right care level, they will reward you with multiple heads over 3 to 6 months, and then you can start to frag them and maybe then send them on to other people in the hobby and just keep that aquacultured coral alive, which is far more sustainable for the oceans, which we love, but also these beautiful species of coral then can kind of live on in the hobby as well. So a tiny bit just about feeding. When I'm feeding the fish, I also feed the torch corals some nice meaty fleshy foods, so they do like a little bit of mysis. Probably do that once every 4 or 5 days. They like a little bit of copepods, any of that good stuff, that fresh kind of fish food that you can get. The torches will also really enjoy that. But a few other things that I kind of make sure that my torches have is magnesium. So if you look, not that it's very exciting, but you can see there the yellow dosing pipe, that is magnesium, Red Sea's liquid magnesium. That's dosing 1 ml every single day, which is not much, but this is a 75 litre 20 gallon Nano Reef, and that magnesium levels are really important when you're looking after torches. I keep my magnesium levels really high I say really high, anything between 1400, 1400 and 1500 parts per million. Yeah, but magnesium, elevated magnesium levels always are loved by your torches. They do like nutrients as well, so kind of phosphates and nitrates. Yeah, they love, not if your water's too clean, they might find it a little bit difficult to survive. So just a little bit more on the feeding. One of the things I think has really helped my torches is this Reef's Elements Amino Plus. I've dosed that 2 ml every single day since having this tank and setting it up. I think that's really helped. I've heard that LPS corals do like amino acids, so that's my go-to. Again, just to remind you, I'm not sponsored, so please, you know, don't think that what I'm trying to push anything out. I'd hate for you to think that you come and watch this channel and you feel that you have to buy a certain product. That's not what we're about. This is just me sharing my little experience of nano reefing. There's my magnesium. That's the Red Sea one. Yeah, not very exciting, but you can see that there. I think that's been part of keeping my torches healthy and happy. A few other bits and bobs down here. I've already mentioned salinity, which is 1.025 or 1.026. Yeah, just keep it in check with, you can see how many of these I've got. The Hanna salinity pen is awesome, but if you don't keep it calibrated, you might run into problems. So I calibrate mine every 2 weeks with the calibration fluid, and I've got quite a few of them in stock. So that's that. If my torches do start to look a little bit under the weather, I try and buffer my nutrients. I have got Coral Essentials phosphate there, which I rarely use. I actually put quite a bit of this in from time to time. So I dose 2 ml of CVE, Coral Essentials. That's also part of the food that really helps with the colour for the corals. So 2 ml a day of the CVE. And often after a water change, because it's a nano tank, I have to just top up the nitrates, and again I use Nitrate Plus. So that's part of that little feeding cycle, and that's the tank. That's the underneath of the tank. So here I feel is a couple of musts if you're keeping your torch corals happy. The first one is Reef's Elements Manganese. There are many other brands out there, but this is a key to keeping the polyps nice and thick and healthy on my Indonesian torch corals. I dose 1 ml every 3 days just into that return chamber at the back, and that's really helped with the health of those corals. And the other one on the left is the Red Sea Iodine Plus, and this really helps with the health of the torch corals and the coloration as well. And again, I dose about 1 ml every 5 days of this one into the return chamber, and I feel that these two have really helped me along the way to keeping my torches happy and healthy. So one torch coral I'd love to see in this collection is a banana torch coral. I don't know if you've seen these. I'm sure many of you watching this video have seen them. So when I get my new torch, there's one thing I'm definitely going to do, and that is give it a coral dip, because these torch corals come with lots of potential hitchhikers and little pests, such as your flatworm, which I'll put a picture on screen now. So your flatworms, you tend to see, which I've not seen any on mine, but you tend to see them around the top here of the skeleton. They're quite noticeable. They're not the end of the world, so don't worry if you spot some flatworms on your torch corals. Just get them out carefully from your reef aquarium and then bob them into a saltwater dip. So when I get my new torch corals, I have about 1.5 litres of salt water. I then squirt some of this Coral RX in. So this is a coral dip. You can get lots of different coral dips, check them out. I think there's one called Reef Primer and there's a few others. And I jet it down with my turkey baster, flow over the kind of torch coral to make sure that the pests are off, get any potential hitchhikers off, and then rinse it down in salt water, and then that it's ready to go into your reef aquarium. But yeah, you can check out on the channel me dipping my torch corals. You can see it on an earlier video back in the day when I started to get my torch corals, but you can also see it on the video where I'm fragging them as well. So Every torch coral definitely needs a dip before it goes in. Make sure you dip yours. Or if you notice any flatworms on your torch corals, then it's probably worth getting them out and then giving them a little dip as well. A couple of other things to look for on your torch corals is brown jelly disease. This is not a good one to have if you've got a torch collection. You'll notice around the heads of the torch you get this brown kind of gooey jelly. I'll put a picture on screen right now. There you go. So there's brown jelly disease. My advice would be to get that torch out of your aquarium as soon as you can. Give it a dip, see how it gets on. But chances are that is probably a lost torch coral. Personally, if I got brown jelly with one of mine, I would take out the torch and just leave it out, because you wouldn't want to really affect the other torches. It can spread between torch to torch, and that disease can wipe out a whole garden if you're not careful. So yeah, not good. The last one to look for, if your kind of torch coral starts to retract, doesn't look as happy, needs a little bit of a perk, you can give it a Cipro dip. Now this is something that I've never done, don't know really too much about it, but check it out on YouTube. I'm sure some very well established reefers have done a Cipro dip. I've never had to do one, touch wood. I've never had brown jelly either, touch wood. But just, yeah, either of those things, just be really careful, because they are such a beautiful coral. You want to keep them happy and healthy. So everything's starting to look very Halloween themed here on the channel. I know for our American viewers, you do it huge over in the US, and I'd love to join you one year to celebrate Halloween over there. But here in the UK, we also get right into it. My little boy is very excited about tomorrow, where we can go out trick-or-treating and go and pick up some sweets and candy and all that goodness that comes with Halloween. Here is the bat biscuit. Absolutely love these guys. We've really enjoyed eating a few of these over the last couple of weeks. It's from Greg's the Bakers. Again, for our European and US viewers, I don't know if you've heard of Greg's. It is a brilliant kind of low-cost bakery here in the UK. But if you visit the UK, you've got to visit Greg's. Get the sausage roll, but I can highly recommend the bat biscuit as well. It's going to go really well with that cup of Yorkshire tea. Right, let's get on with this update and see what's been going on this little Nano Reef, as well as the torches. Oh, there's the pistol shrimp there in the middle of the shot, and the suntail goby. Oh yes, getting that on camera for you guys. You can see that there. There's my fire shrimp, but he's just lost his he's just had a molt. I don't know if you can see that there. Oh, the fisher. There you go, next to that Jason Fox coral. I don't even know the name of that. If you do know the name of it, just hit us up in the comments. But the clownfish seem to be kind of eating the old husk. Yeah, can you see that? I don't think I've ever seen that before. So there she is. That's the clownfish, and she's kind of picking at the old husk of the blood red shrimp. So my molt's probably about once a month, roughly. And I was reading, when I was doing a little bit of research, it's all to do with the amount of iodine or iodine in the tank. So if you've got healthy iodine levels, your shrimp will molt. So there you can make out the purple firefish. She's an absolute beauty. One of the favourite fish. She's quite elusive. She sits at the back. She's definitely a favourite. And then here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a really nice shell just to the left of that button scolly. So I've just grabbed out the magnifying lens, and you can see here the Holy Grail micro mousse. It looks so cool. I hope this is coming out on the camera, on the video for YouTube. You can see there the water just flows over the surface of it, and then it's got these tiny little tentacles that filter the water, gets its nutrients from there as well, and it's completely outgrown that tile. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little update on the torch corals. I love just looking at coral videos on YouTube, and hopefully you enjoyed that one in particular. If there's anything you've seen you want to ask about torch corals, hit us up in those comments section. I will reply to every single one of you and get back straight with you. Nano reefing questions, torch coral questions, what I could do with the reef tank to make it even better. Yeah, hit us up in the comments, give us a thumbs up, and also subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, yeah, it's free. And I really want to grow this channel. We are at nearly 3k subs. Why should you subscribe? Well, it's my birthday in 3 weeks' time, and I'm thinking about adding to my fish collection. I'll give you a clue. It's something small, colourful, and nano-friendly. See if you can guess what it might be. Also, I've still got Christian's Dragon Soul torch coral here. I need to go and deliver that to Signature Frags Coral Farm, so there could be some more content coming your way as well. If you're absolutely loving this reefing YouTube stuff, which is what I do, I watch everybody else's YouTube channels, then check out our Friday night live stream. It's 8 PM GMT time every Friday for some reefing chat, topical issues, and a bit of a laugh as well. That's with Fishpalace, Mogsys Aquarium, TB Corals, and even, if we might spot him, the bearded reef one. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I've still got my biscuit and cup of tea to drink. I'm going to wrap things up now, but have a spooktastic Halloween and hope to see you in the next video. You take care, guys, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.